فَإِذَا بَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ. Then when they have reached their appointed time. Who? The divorced women. And what is their ajal? Ajal refers to the end of the iddah, the end of the waiting period. So when the divorced woman is about to reach the end of the waiting period, let's say she had her first period, then tuhur, then the second period, and then tuhur. Now there's only one period left. Okay? So the end is very near. So then the husband has to make up his mind. He has to make a decision. Is he keeping her? Or is he letting her go? So Allah says, فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ فَارِقُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. Then either retain them according to acceptable terms, or part with them according to acceptable terms. You have to make up your mind quickly. أَمْسِكُوهُنَّ from the root letters, Mim, Sin, Kaf, Imsak, which is to retain something, to keep something with yourself. So retain her, keep her, how? بِمَعْرُوف. What does it mean by this? Keep her with ma'roof. This would be in the case where the talaq is raj'i, revocable divorce, which is the first or the second. What is ma'roof? How is he going to keep her with ma'roof? Meaning by taking her back before the end of their iddah. Not that he wants to do ruju' after iddah. No, it has to be before their iddah is completed. Similarly, ma'roof also means honorably, respectfully, being kind to her, not being harsh to her, being rude to her. No, if you have decided to keep her, then keep her with ma'roof. Not that, you keep showing ihsan to her, that look, this could have been the end of it, but I've been so nice to you, I've kept you anyway. No, this is not ma'roof. Similarly, ma'roof also means while giving her what she deserves, meaning her haqq, her rights. As a wife, whatever she deserves, it should be given to her. فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. And if you decide that no, she should go, you don't want to stay with her, أَوْ فَارِقُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. Then release her according to acceptable terms. فَارِقُ from the root letters, فَارَ, قَاف. Farq. What does farq mean? Separation. And مُفَارَقَةٌ, فَارَقَ يُفَارِقُ, مُفَارَقَةٌ. Mufaraqa is when two separate from one another. This is bab mufa'ala. So two separate from each other. They were together, but now they separate away from each other. So فَارِقُوهُنَّ fi'l amr, separate from them. How? Honorably. How is it that you're going to separate from them honorably? That leave them to conclude their waiting period. Leave them to conclude their waiting period and don't do any rujur with them. Because if a man does rujur with the woman, that's it. Then he has her. But if he decides to let her go, then what should he do? What should he do? Let her waiting period come to an end. Secondly, فَارِقُهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ also means that their iddah is over, there was no reconciliation, she's going home. Now at that time, what is a man required to give to the woman? Some kind of gift. The mut'a talaq. Remember? Some kind of gift. And also, whatever she owns, whatever is hers, she has the right to take it with her. Not that she is told, leave empty-handed. And whatever we gave it to you, give it back to us. No. But rather, he should send her away with something. فَارِقُهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. Similarly, he should separate from her how? In an honorable way. Not that she is kicked out of the house, cursed, abused. No. In an honorable fashion. فَارِقُهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. وَأَشْهِدُوا, and take as witnesses. Ashhidu, sheen, hadal, shahada, meaning call as witnesses. Who? ذَوَيْ عَدْلٍ, two possessors of justice, meaning two just men. Minkum, from you, meaning who are believers. So call two people who are just people to testify, to bear witness over what? Over either the mufaraqah or the rujur. Meaning whatever final decision you make sure there are at least two people who know about it. Not that people are wondering, so, did they do rujur, did they not do rujur? Are they together, are they not together? No. At least two people should be there to witness that. وَأَشْهِدُوا ذَوَيْ عَدْلٍ مِّنْكُمْ. Some have said that this command is actually of istihbab. Meaning it's not mandatory that two people must be called over there to bear witness to it, but rather, it is preferable Okay? Because it's not necessary that you will find two witnesses in every case. So وَأَشْهِدُوا ذَوَيْ عَدْلٍ مِّنْكُمْ وَأَقِيمُوا الشَّهَادَةَ لِلَّهِ, and establish the testimony for Allah. Meaning, the address is to the two witnesses, that you are coming to bear witness to this for whose sake? For whose sake? For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ensure that the commands of Allah are being followed. So don't take a wage for it. Don't charge the man for it. Similarly, don't charge the woman for it. Don't consider it as a favor upon them. No. وَأَقِيمُوا الشَّهَادَةَ لِلَّهِ. You're just doing your duty for the sake of who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ذَلِكُمْ يُوعَظُ بِهِ. That he is admonished by it. ذَلِكُمْ. What does ذَلِكُمْ refer to? Ishhad, ihsa of iddah, imsak bil ma'ruf, mufaraqa bil ma'ruf. All of this, يُوعَظُ بِهِ. Who is instructed by it? مَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. He who believes in Allah and the last day. Meaning, a person who believes in Allah and the last day, then he must follow these commands that Allah has given. And a person who does not have this belief, then he can do whatever he pleases. He can do whatever he pleases. What does it show? What does it show to us? That it is a requirement of Iman to follow these commands. And if a person does not follow these commands, what does it show? That his Iman is weak, it's deficient. ذَلِكُمْ يُوعَظُ بِهِ مَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ. And whoever fears Allah, يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Allah will make for him an exit, a way out. Whoever fears Allah, and as a result he follows the commands properly, then Allah will make for him a way out. Makhraj. What is makhraj? An exit, an outlet, an escape. So Allah will make for him an outlet, an escape, by saving him from every distress of this world and the hereafter. Because if you think about it, sometimes this issue of divorce between a man and woman, it becomes so complicated, so difficult, so messy, that people don't know how to get out of that trouble, out of that difficulty. Isn't it? Months and months go by. Years and years go by. And people do not know whether they're married or they're divorced. Isn't it so? But we see that a person who has fear of Allah, Allah will make a way out for him. Allah will take him out of that situation so he's free. I remember recently, this woman had called in to ask about her divorce, that when she got married, the marriage was not registered over here. So it was just like a verbal nikah, just a shari nikah, and that was it. There was no paperwork, nothing whatsoever. She had problems with the husband. They had 2 children already. She moved out of his house. She was living with her parents. And then she was in touch with him, but then after some time, she lost touch with him. She doesn't know where he is. She has no idea where he is. It's been many, many years. She doesn't know how to take divorce even. Because if the marriage was registered, she could have done something. But if the marriage is not registered, how is she meant to take a divorce when she cannot even get in contact with him? Do you understand? So, this is a problem. When you don't follow the rules, who told you to leave? Why did you leave the house? And if you were leaving the house, you should have left with some kind of decision. And once you left, why did you just leave it like that? You should have come to a conclusion, a decision, sooner or later. Why delay it for so many years and now you're wondering, what am I supposed to do? So, a person must fear Allah with regards to these issues. He cannot neglect them. Because if a person neglects them, then what does it lead to? Many, many problems. Endless problems. For years and years. Complications, difficulties. So, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever fears Allah and as a result of that is careful about following the commands of Allah, he will find a way out of trouble. Otherwise, people are stuck in these difficulties for many, many years. يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And over here, although this is specifically with regards to divorce that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, but we can understand this in the general sense as well. That a person who fears Allah with regards to what he is doing, Allah will make a way out for him. And this is something very true. Like for example, if a person has a job that is unlawful, a means of earning that is unlawful, and he fears Allah with regards to that, and he makes up his mind, I want to get out of this, Allah will make a way out for him. Allah will take him out of it. But if a person does not have the fear of Allah in his heart and he says, oh, too bad, I don't have another option, then will he find another option? Will he find another alternate? No, he will not. When will you find a way out of the problem that you're in? When you have fear of Allah. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ, and He will provide for him from where he does not even expect. First of all, Allah will take him out of the difficulty that he's in. Secondly, Allah will provide him from where he cannot even imagine, from where he cannot even anticipate, from where it never even occurred to him. This is the benefit of what? Having fear of Allah, following the commands of Allah. وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ, and whoever trusts on Allah, فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ, then Allah is sufficient for him. He doesn't need to rely on other people. He doesn't need to be unjust on other people and take their rights. No. Whoever trusts on Allah, then Allah is sufficient for him. إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ, Allah will accomplish His purpose. Baligh, what does baligh mean? One who reaches, one who attains. So Allah will definitely attain His amr. What does it mean by His amr? Meaning whatever He decides to do, whatever He wants should happen, it will definitely happen. No one can prevent Him, nothing can stop Him, no one can make it difficult for Him. إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. Allah has already set for everything a decree. قَدْرًا. What does qadr mean? An estimate, a measure, a fixed quantity, a fixed amount of time. So for every single thing, Allah has fixed its qadr. How long it will be, how much it will be, how much its length will be, how much its size will be, how much its time will be. For every single thing, the qadr is written from before. And this is with regards to every single matter. For example, even when it comes to the length of the day, the length of the night, is that fixed? Is that fixed? Yes. Once the night begins, you can expect when it's going to end. Isn't it so? Once the day begins, you know when it will end. Right? Because Allah has set for everything a qadr. And this is with regards to a person's rizq even. A person's provision even. How much provision he's going to get. For how long? Until when? How much? What type? Even that is written. Even that is decreed. Similarly, a difficulty that a person is going through. Even for that, there is a qadr. It's not that if a person is in a difficulty, it will be like that forever. No. قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. If a person is in a difficult situation right now, it's not going to be like that forever. Sooner or later, things will change. You understand? Just like the day changes into night. The night changes into day. Similarly, if a person is in a complicated situation today, it will come to an end eventually. Because قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. Everything has an appointed time. Difficulty will come to an end. Ease will also come to an end. Because sometimes a person wonders, what happened? Everything was perfectly fine. Where did things go wrong? Well, for everything there is a decree. Similarly, a person wonders, it was so messy. How come everything is fixed? Because for everything, there is a qadr. Happiness comes to an end. Difficulties, misery, sadness, anger, even they come to an end. We learn in Surah Al-Furqan, Ayah 2, وَخَلَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَقَدَّرَهُ تَقْدِيرًا. That Allah has created everything and determined it with precise determination. The size of each thing is precise. The beginning, the ending, everything is written from before. In Surah Al-Ra'd, Ayah 8, Allah says, وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ عِنْدَهُ بِمِقْدَارٍ. And everything with Him is by due measure. So what does it show to us? That a person should not give up hope. No matter what situation he is in, he should not despair. That just because we're in this difficulty right now, it will never be over. No. It will be over at some point. And if you want it to be over soon, then you have fear of Allah. And you follow what Allah wants you to do. Because وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. And what is it that prevents a person from following the commands of Allah? Because people want to take things in their own hands. Isn't it? If somebody is being unjust, they want to stop him themselves. They want to force him to stop themselves. But sometimes you cannot stop him. But just because he's being unfair doesn't mean you be unfair. No. People like to take things in their own hands. But what do we see? You follow the commands of Allah and leave the matter to Him. And when you will leave the matter to Him, then Allah will be enough for you. وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. And what is it that will give you the ability to continue? The fact that إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ, whatever Allah has decided, it will definitely happen. No one can prevent Allah. So if good is decreed for me, no one can withhold it from me. If difficulty is decreed for me, no one can take it away from me. Because إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. We learn from a hadith. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said that once he was riding the Prophet ﷺ's camel behind him. Meaning he was sitting behind the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ turned to him and he said, "O young man, I will teach you some words, so learn them. Be mindful of Allah and He will protect you. Be mindful of Allah and Allah will protect you. Be mindful of Allah and He will be on your side." Meaning He will help you. He will not abandon you. If you ask, ask Allah. And if you seek help, seek it from who? Allah as well. And know that if the ummah gather their strength to bring you benefit, they will never bring you benefit except that which Allah has decreed for you. If the entire nation were to gather together to bring you some benefit, they will not be able to do so unless Allah has already decreed that benefit for you. And know that if they gather their strength to harm you, they will never harm you except with that which Allah has decreed against you. The pens have been lifted and the pages have been dried. Meaning whatever Allah has written in the decree, it's written, it's fixed, it's definitely going to happen. Do we listen to the recitation? So in summary, what have we learned so far about divorce? That a man, if he decides to give divorce to his wife, when is he to give it to her? In the state of tuhur, in the state of purity. And how many times? Only once. And from that point onwards, what are they supposed to do? Keep count of their iddah. And during their iddah, where does a woman stay? In the house of the husband. And who is responsible to support her financially? The husband as well. And once their iddah is about to come to an end, meaning the last qat, for example, has begun, then the man has to quickly decide what he wants to do. If he wants to keep her, he must do rujur. If he doesn't want to keep her, then he must let her complete her iddah. And then after that, how should he release her? فَارِقُهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفٍ. During their iddah, both things have been said, that you don't expel them and they should also not leave. The husband does not have the right to let her go, and the woman also should not go, which shows that if she goes, then this is what? Disobedience to Allah. This is violating the limits that Allah has set. Meaning, it was the first divorce, he did rujur during their iddah. So if, for example, in their iddah, the husband does rujur, so they're together. Now after some time he decides, it was a mistake, I should divorce her. So if he divorces her, again, do they have to start their iddah from the beginning, and he has to give the divorce at the right time? Yes, he does have to follow the rules again. It will start all over again, but this will be counted as the second divorce. And if he gives divorce to her a third time, then that will be final divorce. If the man is abusive, and the woman is in her iddah, and if she stays with him over there, there's a lot of fear, risk, then it's okay for her to go. This is not being sinful, because there's a risk to her life, to her well-being, her safety. Because sometimes it happens that, for example, a woman may be pregnant, and the husband is being extremely abusive. Now it could affect her. So it's okay for her to go. During their iddah, are the husband and wife responsible for each other, in the sense that is the husband responsible to provide for the wife? Yes, he is. Similarly, is the wife to listen to him? Yes, she is. And if he has any marital relations with her, then that means they have done rujur and their iddah is over. He is not allowed to give her divorce in the state of impurity, meaning when she is menstruating. And secondly, he's not allowed to give her divorce in the period of tuhur, meaning while she's not menstruating, but in that period, marital relations were established with her. So for example, she had her period, her menstruation, it finished. Now she's clean. He establishes relations with her. Now he cannot divorce her. What does he have to wait for? For her to menstruate again, to become clean, only then he can divorce her. You understand? So he has to wait. And when he will give her divorce, then they have to wait for 3 menstrual cycles. If she's pregnant, inshallah, we will learn about that in the following ayat. During their iddah, does she cover from him? No, she's living in the same house. He has the right to do rujur with her. In fact, she should beautify herself even more and be more obedient to him to save her marriage. Okay? The 2 witnesses, what will they do? Basically, at the conclusion of their iddah, they will be told, okay, this is what we're doing. Their iddah is over. We didn't reconcile. She's going home. She's divorced. Okay. 2 witnesses, they will witness this fact. So later on, if there's ever an issue, did they actually get divorced or not? These 2 people are there. So that later the man cannot say, oh no, their iddah was never over. Or he cannot say, oh, we never did rujur. No, there are 2 people who are a witness to that. And those 2 people are who? Just. We see that the rulings of divorce are so detailed. And a person has to be so careful with regards to them, that by the time a person gets to that stage where he wants to divorce her, he might think, okay, forget about it. He might change his mind. This is what is meant by لَعَلَّ اللَّهَ يُحْدِثُ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ أَمْرًا. It's quite possible Allah will create something new in the heart of the husband, in the heart of the wife, so that they don't end up separating from one another, but rather they keep their marriage. And if you notice over here, taqwa is mentioned. That وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And earlier in ayah number 1 as well, that وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ رَبَّكُمْ. And then later in ayah number 3, وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَالِغُ أَمْرِهِ قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. What does it show to us? That when a person has fear of Allah, when he's dealing with other people, then his life will be less complicated. Why is it that people have so many family issues? Whether they're married or they're going through a divorce or whatever's going on. Why is it that there are so many family problems? It's because people do not have the fear of Allah. And because of that, they don't follow the commands of Allah. If a person follows the commands of Allah, it will reduce family problems in his life. It will make things much easier for him. Similarly, another cause behind family problems is not having tawakkul on Allah. Right? Trying to take things in one's own hands. And this is what leads a person to disobeying Allah. But we see that when a person has tawakkul on Allah, he has fear of Allah, then matters will become easier for him. And without taqwa, he will lie, he will cheat, he will harm the other, violate the other person's honor, humiliate him. People will be divided, they will take sides, children will be divided, families will be divided. So it leads to a lot of fasad. But the fear of Allah is what keeps people together.
We are in control of our emotions, and that we have to be in control of our emotions, and don't let your emotions be in control of you.
Exactly. Because at the end, whatever you do, you are accountable for it. So just because you were upset, just because you were very hurt, just because you were very angry, doesn't mean you do whatever you want to. You have to control yourself, because at the end you are accountable. And it's this fear of Allah that will keep a person straight. And this belief in Allah and also the last day. And you see at the end of this ayah, قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. Allah has made for everything a precise determination. In this context, if you look at it for divorce, for example, their iddah is not eternal. Their iddah is not for 5 years. But what's the qadr? ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوء. Right? Similarly, we see that the period of a woman is not such that she's menstruating for 20 days. No. On average, how is it? 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. So for these things as well, Allah has made a qadr. Why? So that things become easy for people. If this qadr was not there, then how difficult divorce would be, how complicated it would be, what an endless process it would be. Correct? And it would lead to so many injustices. So it's a huge mercy of Allah that He has kept a decree, a determination for every single thing, including divorce, including iddah, including menstruation. And this is a mercy. And from this we should take a lesson that everything comes to an end eventually. So do not give up hope, and do not become arrogant either. Because when people are going through difficulties, they give up hope. And when people, they have power, they have control, they become arrogant and oppressive. But there is a warning. You have power today, Allah can take that away from you. Because men have the right to divorce, and they have the right to take the woman back. Sometimes they commit such injustices against women, manipulating the children. There is a warning in this, that for everything there is qadr. Your time will be up soon. Do we listen to the recitation?